A few weeks ago, I looked directly at a sea otter and called it a sea weasel. Not a mumble, not a stumble, full confidence, full sentence. Look, look at that sea weasel. While an actual marine biologist somewhere felt a disturbance in the forest. That same week, I called my fridge a microwave twice to my own face in my own kitchen where I've lived for years and where these appliances have not moved. If you're nodding along right now because you've got your own version of this, you called the remote the phone, you walked into a room and forgot why the hell you walked in there. You know the word, you can see the word, it will not come out of your mouth. I need you to clearly hear this. That's not you losing your mind. That's not early dementia. It's an actual, well-documented reason that this is happening, and it's happening to a huge number of us in our 40s and 50s, and almost nobody is talking about it out loud. So let's talk about it. I'm Debbie, a holistic nutritionist for 15 years now, and that means that I look at the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. And what we're talking about today is brain fog and word recall in midlife. Why it happens, why it's not probably what you're secretly afraid of, and what actually helps. So let's get into it. Here's the part that nobody sits down and explains. Your brain has hormone receptors all over it. And when those hormones start shifting in perimenopause and beyond, your brain feels it directly. This isn't a metaphor. Estrogen in particular plays a real role in how your brain handles memory, focus, and word retrieval. And when it starts fluctuating and eventually declining, your brain is genuinely operating with a different set of resources than it was 10 years ago. And it's not just women either. Men, you guys go through this at a slower, quieter hormonal shift, starting in your 40s and 50s too. And a lot of the same brain fog complaints show up, just with less of a conversation around it because nobody's writing think pieces about it. So when you can't find the word for otter and your brain hands you weasel instead, that's not your brain failing you. That's your brain running on a different hormonal environment that it used to and reaching for whatever word is closest instead of the one that's actually correct. Occasionally hilarious, infuriating, but not dangerous. And I want to be really direct about this one because I know it's the fear sitting underneath a lot of the jokes that we make about it. There is a real difference between I called my fridge a microwave and then immediately knowing that was wrong and laughed about it, and something that would actually need medical attention. Occasional word mix-ups, brain fog, walking into a room and blanking why the hell you walked in there, that's an incredibly common midlife experience with a hormonal explanation behind it. What's different is if it's progressive, if it's affecting your ability to function day to day. If people close to you are noticing changes in judgment of personality or in judgment or personality, not just funny word swaps, that's a talk to your doctor conversation, and I'd never tell you not to have that conversation if something genuinely feels off. But calling an otter a weasel once, that's Tuesday. That's not a diagnosis, that's a hormonal shift with a sense of humor. Brain fog doesn't happen in a vacuum, and a few things make it noticeably worse. And I bet money you already know which ones apply to you. Bad sleep is probably the biggest one. Your brain does a lot of its memory consolidation and cleanup overnight. And if perimenopause or andropause is also wrecking your sleep, which let's be honest, it often is, you're compounding one problem with another. And you're not just hormonally foggy, you're hormonally foggy and running on 5 broken hours of sleep, which is a rough combination for anyone's word recall. Blood sugar swings, those are another big one. If you're skipping meals, running on coffee until 1 p.m., then crashing hard by mid-afternoon, your brain is dealing with an energy roller coaster on top of everything else. A brain that's not getting steady fuel is not going to perform its best party trick, which is apparently remembering the word otter. And chronic stress, the kind that a lot of us are drowning in if we're managing kids, aging parents, a job, a household simultaneously. It keeps your body producing stress hormones that are interfering with our memory and focus over time. It's not one bad day of stress, doing this, it's the accumulated, relentless, sandwich generation kind of stress that never really lets up. Okay, here's the part you actually came for. What to do about it in real terms, not vague wellness speak. So start with sleep because it's doing the most heavy lifting here. That doesn't mean a complicated 10-step nighttime routine with candles and a gratitude journal. It means protecting your sleep in a way you'd protect anything else that actually matters. A consistent bedtime routine, limiting caffeine or coffee after early afternoon, so like 1 p.m., no more after that, and not scrolling on your phone in bed until your brain forgets what tired feels like. Steady blood sugar matters just as much. So you want to make sure you're having protein at breakfast, not just toast and coffee, real meals instead of grazing on whatever's closest at 2 p.m. Your brain runs on glucose and it wants that steady supply, not spiking and crashing every few hours. Omega-3s, they deserve a mention here as well. So fatty fish like salmon or sardines, walnuts, ground flax seeds. Your brain is largely made of fat and it needs the right kind coming in regularly to function well. And then there's a category of things worth researching further. Lion's mane and ashwagandha come up in a lot of conversations about cognitive support and stress resilience, and they're worth looking into if you're curious. I'll say this clearly though, there's a lot more out there beyond what I can offer in one video, and a naturopath or functional medicine doctor can actually tailor something specific to your blood work, your history, and your whole picture. That's not a conversation I can have with you through a camera, and I'd rather send you to someone who can look at your full picture than hand you a generic list and call it a day. And lastly, movement. Movement matters here too, even just walking. It increases blood flow to the brain, and there's genuine, real research connecting regular movement to better cognitive function over time. You don't need a membership for this one, just a sidewalk and 20 minutes. And also, there's real science behind walking or gentle movement actually reducing your stress levels as well. So I highly encourage to start making this a habit. Start with 10 minutes a day. Commit to 30 days of doing this. You'd be surprised how easy it is to actually stick to something when you give yourself a goal. Here's the thing I genuinely want you to walk away with. Some of this fog is just genuinely funny, and I think we're allowed to treat it that way instead of spiraling every time it happens. Sea weasel, fridge, microwave, whatever your version is, the remote you called the phone, the person's name you've known for 20 years that vanished mid-introduction, your glasses you can't find because they're sitting on your face or on your top of your head. That's a story, not a crisis. Tell it at dinner, let people laugh, let yourself laugh at it as well. The humor doesn't mean you're not taking it seriously, it means that you understand what it actually is. There's also something worth naming here about how differently this gets treated depending on who it happens to. So a 25-year-old forgets a word mid-sentence and nobody bats an eye. They're just tired or distracted or thinking about 6 different things at once. A woman in her late 40s or 50s does the exact same thing and suddenly there's a little internal alarm bell going off. Quiet, wait, is this something? That double standard is not fair. And it isn't based on anything real. Your brain doing this at 48 is no more sinister than it doing it at 25. Now it's just happening for hormonal reasons instead of didn't sleep enough after a party reason. although it could still be that at our age as well. We are Gen X after all. Some fog, different cause, same amount of nothing to panic about. And while we're at it, let's talk about what not to do here, because I see it constantly. Don't start silently cataloging every forgotten word as evidence against yourself. Don't Google your symptoms at 11 o'clock at night and end up 3 hours deep in forums that will absolutely wreck your evening for no good reason. And don't let embarrassment stop you from just laughing it off in the moment. The more secretive and ashamed that we get about this stuff, the more isolating it becomes, and isolation and stress are exactly the things making the fog worse in the first place. If anything, let's talk about it. I guarantee you that the people around you have their own version, and normalizing it out loud takes a lot of the sting out of it. This is genuinely one of those things where community helps more than any supplement on a shelf. If you've been quietly worried that forgetting words means something's wrong with you, and I want you to genuinely hear this, it's hormonal, it's common, and there's a real reason nobody warned you about it before it started happening. Protect your sleep, steady your blood sugar, get your omega-3s, move your body, and talk to a professional if you want to go deeper on supplements or something feels like more than the occasional word swap. So if you've got your own sea weasel story, I want to hear about it in the comments. I guarantee you, you're not the only one. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more No BS nutrition advice, and I'll see you in the next one.